Hello everyone, welcome back to another packing video. We are packing some vintage Transformers stickers first. I am putting them in a box. Probably still going to be like 4 ounces, but given the pricey nature of these stickers, I want to use a box. We actually had a vehicle that those could have gone on. However, the vehicle had a missing part, had a cracked part on the body, had some other issues, so Candace ended up parting the vehicle out, including the stickers. So that was a pretty good sale. Okay, we sold all of these Cynthia's Precision or Cynthia's sewing books and stuff, all of them together, and one person came in and just bought them all up. This is one of those listings where I found comps to support it, buying them and listing them. There were 0 actives. Very few comps though. There weren't a lot of comps for this stuff, but the ones I did see were really good. So I was not optimistic these were going to sell. I was not, but they did. I don't know how many books. I think we paid like, it was $1 a book. I just don't remember what is that, 14 books total or something like. I think that's what it is. So we have, should be $14 into that. It's gonna be a little bit heavy. That lady that wrote those books, she was kind of like in that world, she was kind of like a big deal. I did some research on her. I actually found her, she died not too long ago, but I found her obituary. And in that world, she was a big deal. And she was from Baton Rouge. That's going to make us even look harder at sewing stuff. Used to kind of ignore the sewing rooms. Didn't know what we were looking at. Still don't, but we have kind of some ideas now. Cool little vintage monster truck here. Barefoot. We'll go with a 644. And by the way, that last pack with all those books, media mail, wasn't going, well, no, actually it was going kind of far. It's going to Wisconsin. That's not close. Going to Wisconsin, media mail was 9 something. It was 8 pounds. Media mail was 9 something. And Ground Advantage was like a little over $8. So upgrade in service, and it's cheaper. Media mail it won't be much longer to where media mail just is hardly useful at all. Okay, next we're shipping this book, Textbook of Pistols and Revolvers. 1210 Oregon. We got that book the same time we bought all of those cool models. They had a room with a bunch of paperbacks and hardbacks, and hardcovers. One thing I've learned to always look up are collectible looking gun books. There's a lot of them that are really big money. This wasn't huge money, but it was still worth buying. Still a good little find because I have $1 into it. And we have Amigo Superman here. All right, we're packing a guest jacket, vintage. And so I knew, funny enough, I knew a little something about vintage guest clothing because I don't even, 5-6 years ago, went to a garage sale. One of the first ones I went to, lady had, it must have been about 25 pieces of vintage Guess jeans, skirts. I think she had like some overalls. It was all 80s, 90s stuff. So I was real familiar with the tags. So when I saw this jacket, I was like, okay, I know that's true vintage stuff there. Definitely getting that. And it turned out it had a pretty good design on it too. And then one thing I'm going to be careful of, like once you fold this up, there's only one little area in the cut zone, which is right here. I guess really it would be prudent to put one down there too. But just really want to make sure that they don't accidentally cut the jacket whenever they're trying to get the box open. I think most people are somewhat careful when they open something like that, just barely grazing the surface. And I've never had an experience where someone said someone cut the thing when they were opening it, but I've seen plenty of people that have. Probably mostly people that ship in poly bags and make it like super tight. Sold a Imperial Shuttle through a bag Lego set. Okay, this is a good little find. Candace is bringing Molly somewhere the other day. I think it was on Friday. And we weren't going to garage sales. There just weren't enough for it to make sense for us to go out. It was kind of a rainy day or whatever. But Candace did spot a sale on her way home, so she stopped at it and found these. Got both of these for $7, and we sold them for $50. So that was a profitable little trip to drop Molly off somewhere. Just some little alarm sensors. They were still sealed. Okay. Yeah, we did sell some Barbies over the weekend. City Shopper Barbie. And I've decided to go ahead and go with, I could have done a 16, 12, 10, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and resize some 12, 12, 12s for most of these, I think. So let's see where we want this one to go. I think 16, maybe 15 and a half. Let me see again. Yeah, I think 16 is good. We'll do that. This will also kind of help keep the size down, because if I go 16, 12, 10, I'm going to have that one side that's 12 inches. It's way too big. I think we're going to have to do like 3 of these. One of them might be big enough to where I actually do use a 16, 12, 10. This is going to be a double resize, of course. I think we're going to have some pretty good variety of packs today. Alright, now we're going to resize it again. That's a good size. Somebody in the Facebook group mentioned that they were talking about how they tried to do some box resizing for the first time, and that it went horribly. Turned out awful. And it got me to thinking. I show how I pack. And for the most part, I do have some fairly do have some challenging packs from time to time, but for the most part, like, I consider this stuff really pretty easy. And I have to remember that, or the people that are watching these videos have to remember that it's you know, I mean, I think after you've done it for a while, it's easy in my opinion. But if you haven't done it for a while, it's not. Might be difficult at first. And they said they were going to from now on just have the correct size box so they don't have to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I've said this quite a few times. If we had the space to store them, instead of doing all this rigmarole, I would stock 100 different box sizes if space was not an issue. Okay. Because if you have the exact right box size, then the packing is way easier and faster. Careful on that front window there. This way with it. I don't want to smush that window for sure. That would be bad. But yeah, here's the way I look at it. Like whenever we've done drywall stuff, little drywall projects or whatever in the house, and you know, patching something, or floating seams and all that stuff, and I go to YouTube and I watch the, you know, the pro says how to finish drywall, and then they just show and they're like whoosh, 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 whoosh. And then I try and do it and it looks like garbage, like really bad. And it's like, oh, they've been doing it for 30 years. They think it's easy. They don't understand anymore. And so I definitely understand that, like, not everybody's going to be able to do this at first perfectly. Packing a couple of chess pieces. So whenever you watch these videos, just keep in mind, this is a rough guess across eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, Etsy. We've also sold thousands of our own items. Like, we sold over 4,000 of these at one point. We don't sell them anymore. But I estimate I've packed about 40,000 orders now. So if you're not good at it right from the start, that's really just kind of to be expected. I wasn't either. Most of what I've learned about packing came, there was some pain involved in learning it. But I do feel like I've kind of learned what's good enough and what's not, and the weaknesses of packing certain types of items, you know, the gotchas and what to look out for. That's it. All right, sold a dog harness. I'm gonna bag it. One of these. And we're just going to poly bag it. You never see me do that. Very rarely. When's the last time y'all saw me do that? I can't remember. Of course, we don't normally sell stuff like exactly like this either. All right, packing a pool float. Raising canes. We've had some success lately with Raising Cane stuff. We just shipped a hat last week. $75 hat. Pretty rare hat though. Same thing. I'm going to do one on the bottom. And then one protector on the top. Cut guard. Yeah, that wasn't bad. I mean, we spent $3 on the pool float. And then Candace took a couple of snaps of it leaning against a tree. It was already blown up. So that listing took 5 minutes or less. And then we spent another 5 minutes just getting the air out of the thing. That's done. Another Barbie. And this time, this one's a little bit wider. So I don't think it's a good candidate to resize a 12, 12, 12. I have a 16, 12, 10 up here. You can see that's already, that's a good size. I'll just have to just be resizing the height of it. This is going to, there's a couple of places when you see them, you think freight forwarder, especially when you look at the address. And there are characters in the address which you're like, okay, that's not part of an address. That's just like a code or something. And that's the case with this one. It's going to Doral, Florida. From there, who knows? See that sometimes in Miami. Sometimes you see it like in like Seattle or some parts of California, and you'll see that too. Delaware a lot. Okay, let's see how low we want to go. And we probably are going to be baking the cutting these flaps off right here and putting them back down on the bottom. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, the more I look at it, I don't think that's not going to leave enough material up top to do that this time. Let's take a look. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're going to leave all that material. I did leave a little more room for paper. All I'm doing is shipping it to Florida. That's not far. Again, when I'm packing these, whenever I do put the paper on top, I'm going to be cognizant of not damaging that window. Another thing you could do too, you could put a piece of cardboard on top of it. I feel good about not doing it. Good strength, good float. See, even doing that height resize, this is a lot easier than that 12-12-12 resize I did a minute ago. Here we have some patches going out. It's an older listing, Girl Scout patches. We are doing eBay standard envelope here. I'm just kind of spreading them out a little bit so there's not like a huge bulge in the middle there. We have a Micro Machines. This thing is cool. Look, it's like a firefighting airplane thing. It has a little car with it. That thing's neat. I have no clue why that didn't sell before. It's okay, it's going out now. We're doing a 16, 12, 10. With probably a little resize to it. Yeah, we're definitely going to do some resizing here. Okay. It's going to be about the same size as that last pack. That Barbie. If y'all remember all that Hot Wheels stuff we were buying a few months ago, this is the remnants of that. Like, that's how those buys go. 75% of it usually sells within the first few months, and then 10% of more of it might be another 6 months. And then next 10% might take another 6 months. It's like, that's just how it goes. We don't have a ton of that stuff left though. We do have a few key pieces. $600 and something car. We've got a $300 and something car. We've got quite a few of the drag buses left that I guess I'm gonna have to pretty soon. I'll probably wait till it comes around. Got a new way I'm doing. I just started last week. I hadn't talked about it on the vlogs yet, but we've got kind of a new process for handling our inventory. But yeah, I'll go ahead and describe it here. Doesn't really fit in with packing, but So here's the deal, and I'll start. You know what? I'll start on the next package. That one's done. Okay, another Barbie, and funny enough, another freight forwarder. This is one that I've never seen this situation before. This one is a freight forwarder in Mexico. Okay, I think 14, yeah, 14 and a half. No. The freight forwarder is going to Mexico, I should say. Yeah. It's actually going to, I'm shipping to Laredo, Texas. I went and looked them up because it's got the company name of the freight forwarder as the 2 address. And they operate between Mexico and United States. We've been to Mexico a lot. And one thing we were just talking about is, like, if you want something like this in Mexico, it's not so easy. Like, the places I've been anyway, I've never been to Mexico City. I've mostly been to, like, border towns and resort towns, and there's no like Walmart, at least that I saw. I didn't see any like Walmart type stores or Best Buys and things like that. It's not so easy to get some consumer goods there. It's like that a lot of places, actually. We're talking about, I know I have the other thing I'm going to talk about too, but we were also talking about earlier, or just now actually, Candace and I, we were going on, oh man, this is probably 15 years ago or something. Probably about 15 years ago. We were going on a cruise, and one of the stops was Jamaica. And we booked a tour, like this waterfall tour thing, where you go walking through these rivers and you see all the waterfalls and stuff. It was really, really cool. But we booked it well in advance of leaving. The tour guide emailed us and asked us to help him. He said he wanted a new laptop for his business, and there were no, he said it was very difficult to obtain new laptops in Jamaica because most companies won't ship there. I guess computer companies weren't shipping there. It was just very difficult to get that kind of stuff. So he was asking us to help him. He wanted us to, yeah, that'll work. He wanted us to buy the laptop for him and bring it to him. And he said, look, I'll send you the money. You could buy the laptop, bring it, and then just give it to me whenever you come for your tour. So that's what we did. And that was actually my first and only time to use Western Union. He Western Unioned the money to us. I bought the laptop. Actually, he asked me to help him pick out a laptop too. He ended up getting a Dell. I think it was about $600 and something or something. And then a couple months later, we go on the cruise. And I did tell him, I was like, look, I'm going to take the laptop out of the box and I'm going to put it in my backpack because I didn't want it to look like I was smuggling goods into Jamaica. I had to make it look like it was my personal laptop. And then, yeah, we got there for the tour and gave him the laptop. He was very appreciative. That must suck not having easy access to what I think most of us that are watching this right now would consider common consumer goods. Okay, that's done. I'm gonna talk about that other thing in a minute, but I'm gonna get this done because then we're gonna have some more lengthy packs coming after this. This is Here to Sleigh cards or something of some sort, some kind of expansion thing or something. That game was our best one as far as being valuable. We have so many parts to it that we've sold for a lot of money. This was like, if y'all missed it, bought a whole bunch of Kickstarter games from the same guy I bought from last year. And the deal this year was even better than last year. It's a home run. And this particular game is pretty hot because the value of this stuff is really good. All right, we have some gumbo bowls to pack today, and just did some not too long ago. I'm gonna do them a little, really similar to last time. Just a little different. The one thing I didn't like was the wrap that I put on it after I put the bubbles and the separators. I'm gonna do that part a little different, but not much. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to bubble each bowl. So 2 sheets of bubble wrap. And we are going to separate them with this cardboard that we already had. Then we're going to take all that and we're going to do a wrap. And then we're going to take that and we're going to put it in a box. Little cardboard things, I do believe, are the original ones. All right, and I am going to bubble wrap the whole thing, the whole mass. Put a little paper on top there. Come back around, do the same thing going the other way on the other end. And then, see if these are big enough. Yeah, I think they are. I'm gonna take 2 long strips like this and do a wrap around those edges. And some tape pop off. Get that back down. Didn't have enough for that amount of pressure. Okay, and I like that better than the way I did it last time, because I really just want to like give a little more reinforcement to those outer edges. Like once you get into here, that's so far recessed, that's not going to be an issue. So yeah, I think that worked well. Now we're basically just going to drop that in some paper, and I might use my thicker paper. Actually, I think I will. And this will be the third set. Oh, I was going to talk about something else, and I totally forgot. All right. Matter of fact, let's see. I've got some foam. Let's take a look at this. I might even use it. I've got this foam here. Got from somewhere. Ooh, that's cushiony. Ooh, that's really nice, actually. Jam a bunch of paper down in the sides. We've had that foam for a little while now. Okay, another fragile pack. This is a napkin holder thing, vintage of course. start out by stuffing that cavity. Okay. And then we're going to get a bunch of bubble wrap, of course. We got some really good stuff at that sale. Is this the same sale where we got the guest jacket, Ken?
No, that came from the truck.
Oh, okay. Never mind, I thought this was that sale. It wasn't. Okay. So we have her bubbled up. And I have this old box that I'd already kind of cut up before for something. And do like a little interior wrap with this. Okay. I didn't think this all the way through yet. I think I was, let's see. I think I'm gonna just like cut these corners and do the old fold them in thing. Like this, except I'll have to kind of cut some of these corners off to make it work like that. There we go. And being inner packaging, like I'm not too concerned about the way it looks. Alright, use enough tape here. Now I did. Alright. Can't. First side is always the hardest on this because I don't have the luxury of being able to turn it. Okay, this. That off. And I'll cut kind of a V right here. There we go. And that'll fold up like, y'all seeing that alright? Like that. Not easy on this first side. The second side will be, should be, much smoother. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Now I can work like this. That's a lot easier. Okay. Here, and I already know I need a V-notch there from the last side. Okay, and then let's see this. Okay, that's going to need to cut like that, like that. What else? Okay, that. Okay, I think I should be about good to go now. Trim this back. Next, I'll just cut this piece off. Okay. Now we're just going to fold it up like we did before, except now it's easier. There's just a lot of pressure on all these tape joints. I'm going to have to come back and reinforce them with some long pieces like that. Use a little 2-inch tape. Not quite as expensive. Okay, so now we have our little inner pod, or whatever you want to call it. I think that came out pretty good, actually. I like that. Now I gotta take a look at this. I think a resize is in order. This calls for a resize. It just does. Not much. And is this a lot of packing for a $27 thing? Yes, it is. Ton of packing for 27 bucks. But it's a good thing for me to try and do for a video. So it works out. I think now I might use some of my bogus paper, that thicker 50-pound weight paper. That was just cut a bad line there. Got our little thing, just float it in there. Good. Clean up all that junk. Oh yeah, this stuff is thick. If I would have used the other stuff, I would have used twice as much. almost got it. Okay, here's a cool little pack here. We have 4 of these Noel letters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack each letter in its own box. So we're going to do box. We can use 2-inch tape for this. So we're going to do box and box and box. I think these are, yeah, these are a good size. I'll put my bogus paper to the side for a second. Oh, so the thing I was going to talk about earlier. So when we look at our eBay store, we have a ton of older listings that have just gone stale, and they don't get views anymore. So what we've decided to do is I'm going to, this is my plan anyway, and I've actually stuck to it for quite a few days now. We're going to end and sell similar 25 things a day. So here's the thinking. Our store normally runs with about 2,000 listings in it. Way more than that items, because we have a lot of listings with multi-quantity, but about 2,000 listings. So if we end and sell similar our oldest 25 listings per day, then every 80 days everything should have been ended and relisted, and it's probably going to end up being more like 90 days or so. And really that number is kind of deceptive too, because a lot of the listings, it's probably going to be more often than that, than the 80 days, because a lot of the stuff will sell before it ever gets to that point. So I'm not 100% sure of the math, but somewhere around 80 days. It's not like end and like list it and forget it. Doesn't work very well anymore. And here's what I'm thinking too, is that if something hadn't sold in 80 days, we need to take a look at it anyway, mess with the title, do something, right? Like change the price. And here's what I'm doing on all of those that I'm ending and selling similar. I am changing the title a little bit. I might change the order of the words. I might add some words. I might take some out. I'm going to do something to where it's not the same exact title. I'm also kind of trying to make eBay think it is a brand new thing, in case they're like, oh, we've seen that exact same title before from that seller. That's an old listing, right? I don't want to do that. And then, like, just looking, things change. Some things have the wrong weights or measurements. Some things might not have the correct shipping method, you know, like just things like that. Let me see. I'm thinking 2 side by side, and then 2 more side by side. So I think I'm going to do that. But I've already found quite a few. I'll use this stuff again. I've already found quite a few that cards and patches and stuff like that that we could use eBay standard envelope on. And we have a lot of stuff where the price is just not right anymore. Like the market changed. It's be listed. So just all kind of little things like that. And then in a lot of cases, gonna like lower prices substantially too. And then I'm also putting a little code in the custom SKU for every item we do that with, to let me know that it's been through this process once. So then the next time, like after we do everything in our inventory and we come back around to it the next time, I'll be either more aggressive with the pricing, or there might be time to just give up and move on from those items, some of those items. And then in some cases, like some long tail, like car parts and things like that, not changing the pricing at all on everything. But another good thing is if we can continue to do this and be disciplined about it, that means it'll be a lot harder for us to have out of stock defects in our store. Because if we do it like that, then our entire store, it won't be like a completely accurate inventory, but we'll at least, oh, that's the other part of this. Those 25 things that we're ending and selling similar every day, at that same time, we're also making sure they're on the shelf. And so I think this strategy is going to help keep our items fresh. It's going to keep us like checking out prices and just making sure the listings are good listings. And also make sure we still have it, because a lot of times that's where your errors or your deficiencies in your inventory are going to come, or from your oldest listed items. So every 80 days we'll have a complete inventory of stuff that's listed on eBay isn't on the shelf. Now what we won't have is it on the shelf and not listed, but that's not quite as critical because we don't get defects for that. This is done. Okay, we sold this Disney Infinity set, collector's edition set thing. We actually had two of these. One was sealed and one was not sealed, but it was like new open box. So actually it's not like, that's exactly what it was. We've had these listed for a few years now. I priced them too high and they didn't sell, and then finally sold the one that was sealed. I don't remember how much it was for. I want to say it was like around 150 or so, something like that. And originally these were quite a pain in the behind because even though I said it in the description and everything, a lot of people assume because of the way the box looks, and I kind of thought this when I first got them too, but people assumed that it came with a PS4 console. And then I did go back and make it more obvious later, but I think we sold these things a couple of times in the past and then they canceled. So this one's going out finally got rid of both of them. Oh, and have these two, and I am going to just tape these. I'll let y'all see up there. I'm just going to tape those to the top, and then I'm going to let them know that they're taped to the top. Now I have a box that's like a really nice size for it. This is going to be like a kind of a boring pack. This is a box that Candace wanted a new suitcase. I got it for her birthday, and that's what we're gonna ship this in this box. And it's it does have a little extra room in it, that we're going to have to stuff with a little bit of paper. It's not a ton of room. Okay, let me see how cushiony that feels. Okay, that feels good. And so now it's just a matter of, I'm just going to stuff paper down the sides, and I'll come back and stuff paper on top. This is going to be really difficult for me to film this. But I think y'all know what stuffing paper kind of looks like anyway. Go down that side. This box is pretty strong too. The luggage that came in this, it was pretty pricey. But it was on sale. But it was packed pretty well. And this is a good sturdy box for this pack. I'd probably normally pack it, make the pack a little tighter. But this was going to be so easy just doing this. But I was like, man, even if it costs me a few extra dollars because of the size, I think I would rather do this. Ain't bad at all. I am glad I have the thicker paper for this. I don't have to use near as much as I would have had to otherwise. Okay. All done now except for the taping. I'm gonna turn off the camera for the taping part, and I'll be right back. Okay, this guy is packed, and I didn't resize this box or nothing. It is ready to roll. I did patch up a few little dings it had in it and whatnot, but yeah, I feel really good about this pack. That's another reason this thing didn't sell. It's just so big and expensive to ship. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, we're gonna pack Adidas Mycene doll, and this is it's funny, this is going to a freight forwarder just like a lot of the other dolls. It's like a lot of these dolls are popular outside of the US, so I think I'm gonna go and do 15 and a half. That's what I'm gonna do. A Sharpie. And we're gonna do hopefully a quick resize on this. Did something special right before I started filming too. I actually put a fresh blade in my box knife. Pretty bad about waiting too long for that. And I can see it whenever I'm editing the videos. I'm like, geez, it looks like I'm trying to cut this box with a butter knife. Ooh, a fresh blade is so nice. We really probably ought to be changing that blade out no less than once a month. Crazy. I think we sent dolls to. We had 2 or 3 dolls go to freight forwarders yesterday, and now this one's going to a freight forwarder. Okay. Here's where it's nice on these cuts. It's cut like butter. Look, I was having to almost tear those off before. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'll put the paper in. Gotta hit these edges. And that one's done. Okay, I think we packed one of these just the other day. Sold another one. LJN SWAT. Alright, we're packing a bunch of beeswax. 7 pounds of it. Let's see. These packs are kind of long, so I'm just going to ship it in one of these 16, 12, 10s. Way resized down vertically though. Won't take but a second. Big old chunk of beeswax. Fresh blade cut's so good. Almost no effort. Should be clocking in hopefully at 8 pounds or less. Let's see. 8 pounds on the money. All right, we're shipping a lot of 13 James Bond books. And what I did first, before I turned the camera on, let me grab my tape measure. Where'd I had it for myself? Ah, here it is. I stacked them up like I thought I might pack them. And they end up being just a hair over 12 inches long, and then a little over 9 inches tall, and then like 9.5 inches that way. That makes them a good size for 16, 12, 10. And the good thing about, everybody might not know this, good thing about media mail is it's not affected by the dimensions like a lot of the other, like all the other services are. There's some point where it's too big for media mail, but I don't know what that size is. So like this is going to end up being probably like 20 pounds or something. I don't remember what it is. And with media rate, it doesn't matter if that 20 pounds is 8 by 8 by 8 or 16 cubed. It's going to be the same price. Like I said, there's some, without looking it up, there's some size at which it gets too big, but I don't think you ever get charged dimensional weights on media mail. I just wish media mail wasn't so expensive. because this is going to be, I think it's going to be a little over $20 postage, which makes hardcover books are really expensive and a lot to ship. They just are. No getting around it. Okay. Ought to be a pretty quick pack. I'm going to use my 50-pound paper on this. Not a whole lot of it, I don't think. A little in the bottom, but not too much. I think we have too much room to spare. Yeah, that'll be good like that. Look at that. That's a good fit. All right. I'm just gonna pushing around all four sides. Somebody tell me how to ever get along without these 16, 12, 10 boxes. I mean, I'm using them a lot. Yeah, it feels good. And we have some core figs here. That's a rare or uncommon or whatever word you want to use. Very. It's got the well, it's got the variant and the common version. Candace kind of bundled them together. I really like this heavier paper a lot, by the way. It's not good for everything though, like it wouldn't be good for this. in this camera. I didn't realize it when I bought it, but this camera did have an issue. Did I bubble wrap it? Yeah, I did. Camera works fine. There's a little door that closes over the lens. When the camera's powered off, the lens retracts and a little door slides across. And that little door is not there. It's missing. Broken off. Camera works fine otherwise. So I made it way cheaper than the ones that are in perfect condition. Okay, that's it. Okay, last thing we're packing is a couple of cuckoo clock weights. This is a total of like 3 kilograms. I think that works out to what, about 8 pounds? Something like that. Just trying to remember the conversion. 2.3 or something. 2.3 pounds per kilogram. I think it's like something like that. So dense and heavy. All right, we are going to bubble them. So they don't get scratched up in there. Rub it against each other. About the size of a corn on the cob. Okay. And do a resize. Package like this, it's going to be like 8 pounds or something. So I want to make it pretty small and get that good cubic rate. Which we should get here. And I'm going to use a pretty good bit of paper in here. So one thing to look out for on this pack is you want zero motion. These will act like little wrecking balls. Oh, you know what? I think my resizer slipped. This box is looking wonky. Main thing I want it to be, though, I just want it to be tight. I'm going to use 3 vertical strips going this way. There's a lot of pressure on that. Whoop. A lot of pressure on the top of that. Let's see. Yep, that feels good. And that's going to be it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see y'all again very soon. Bye, y'all.